Hansen. I want to thank you all for joining us today. We got a really good podcast for you today. Unfortunately, the beautiful Miss KellyGirl is not going to be able to join us today. She has, I know men, most of you aren't going to understand this, but those of us that are married are going to understand this. KellyGirl, a really good friend of ours, and his wife are in town tonight, and we're going to go out to dinner. And my wife has nothing to wear. She has nothing to wear. I know most of you men don't understand that, but she has one, two, 3.5 closets full of clothes, but nothing to wear. So KellyGirl's going shopping right now. So we got Larry Hansen from Pacific Sport Fishing Alliance joining us today, which is going to be great because we got some really cool things going on with Larry and the guys over at Pacific Sport Fishing Alliance. We got all kinds of really cool stuff to talk about. And instead of KellyGirl and I talking about it secondhand, we got Larry on the show with us today. Then he's going to answer. We're going to do the question and answer thing today like we do every Thursday with KellyGirl. But Larry's going to be able to tell you guys all about all the great things we got going on. And we just opened up 2 spots for the Alaska trip. Justin Botrell was going to go with us, him and Amanda, but they can't make the trip now. They got some stuff going on with their kids, so they're not going to be able to make the trip. So they just handed their tickets back to Larry, which is great for all of you. It sucks for Justin and Amanda, and I feel bad for them, but for all of you, it's going to open up an opportunity for you to go with KellyGirl and I and Larry and Mike Lewis and Jamie Lewis. We're all going to be on this trip, and you can join us on this trip. So Larry will be talking about that today. And then also we got big news to talk about with Lopez Mateos, which you guys all get to watch me all the time down there, having the time of my life, catching snook and all kinds of different fish and pargo and halibut and everything else that lives in Lopez Mateos. So we're going to be talking Lopez Mateos. We're going to be talking Alaska. And then second half of the show, we're going to be talking about all the cool things that are coming up. We got dates scheduled for the Lopez Mateos stuff. So, hey, without any further ado, let's bring in Larry, introduce him to all of you, and then get this show started. What do you think, Larry? You ready?
Oh, no, I'm never ready. I'm never ready. And you know, I feel like I was misrepresented a little bit. I thought Kelly was going to be on myself, so I agreed. And then you tell me she's not. So I'm kind of feeling, that I'm going to get some haters out there, and I'll do my best. I really will. But I kind of feel like I was thrown under the bus a little bit. But that's okay. That's okay.
Pretty much. KellyGirl heard our conversation, and she's like, "Oh, Larry's coming on. Can I go shopping?" Like, yes, dear, you may go shopping. Go get yourself a pretty little outfit. Make yourself look smoking hot. Not that she needs an outfit to do that, but yep, that's what she's doing. So Larry, what's going on with this Alaska trip? Justin just gave you back his tickets.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, he's got some things come up, and which happens in life, and he's got some younger kids, and I guess just not in the cards this year. So he's going to for sure make it next year. So we got 2 spots now opened up. It's on the second trip. Okay. It's arriving on November 12th for 5 nights. All right. It's all inclusive. All you got to do is get yourself to Gustavus, Alaska. I'll help you guys with the logistics. I'll help you with all your questions. It's 5 nights, 4 full days fishing, includes your meals, includes your fish processing, includes your fish smoking, includes this, getting everything processed to ship on the way home, includes wildlife viewing. We're going to have access to Glacier Bay National Park, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's going to be absolutely awesome between the wildlife and the fishing, and the fact they get to fish with you, Dave, and possibly even me. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So 2 spots open. Total cost is $29.95 per person. The lodge right next to us, okay, guys. I saw them at the show, saw them at the PCI show. Talked to those guys, great operators. They're double that price, guys. They're $6,000 for the same trip. So if you're ever going to go and want to get in, and I just was talking to you, Dave, before we went live here. We're going to have a professional photographer there, getting a bunch of content, doing videos, doing custom shots for your own photo album. His name is Nick Fucci. He does all of the photography for Pacific Sport Fishing Alliance. He's going to be there, Dave, for your entire trip. So Nick's going to show up. He's going to chronicle the whole thing. So if guys want to do something stupid or something smart, we're going to get it all, whatever they want to do. We're going to catch it all with Nick. He can send you, he takes each client and basically emails them all these great photos that only professional photographers can do. I'm not one to do that, but Nick is going to be there. So it's just going to be absolutely amazing. It's a perfect time of year, guys. We picked this spot, Dave, for your trip because it's pretty simple. So that's when the best fishing is. It's the best weather, the best fishing. Love that time of year. Usually we empty the lodge, and that's my personal fishing time. And it's going to be awesome.
Right there in front of you guys, grab that, take a picture of it with your camera or whatever. That we got the poster up there on the screen. Like Larry said, we have 2 spots available. I want you all to be able to grab that real quick and grab that picture. Just take a picture with your phone. We'll put the QR code up for Pacific Sport Fishing Alliance in a minute, but I want you to see what this trip's all about. The dates are on there. Everything's on that poster that you need to know what's going on. And also Larry's phone number is on there so you can call him. Larry's just like myself. He's going to answer your phone unless he's on the phone with someone else. Then he's going to call you back. But this is going to be a fun time. I've never been to Alaska, so I'm super excited about it. I'm going to get to see stuff. KellyGirl's never been to Alaska. We're super excited about getting off the boat, going for the hike, going and seeing the bears, going and seeing the eagles. I hear Larry told me the eagles, you're going to be over it after about an hour because they're like seagulls. They're everywhere. I want to see something like that because we have some bald eagles that live at Catalina, and when we see them, it's a pretty spectacular event. I want to get tired of seeing bald eagles. I want to see what that's like. I want to see that trout, salmon fishing in the river. I want to see that lingcod fishing. And then something else that's going on, gang, Promar is giving us a bunch of swag for the trip. Akuma, we're going to have stuff from Akuma on the trip. We're going to have a lot of really cool stuff on the trip besides KellyGirl and Larry and I. You're going to get to have just the most unbelievable experience. And then after September, those of you that didn't make the trip, you're going to get to watch it all because like Larry said, he's going to have his photographer, his videographer there with us. We're going to have tons of great content, and you're all going to sit back and think, dang, I should have been there. And Larry, you said something when you and I were at the Bard Hall show that if you guys are waiting for your bucket list trip of a lifetime, so many of our friends, and Larry and I are old now, so many of our friends had this bucket list trip on their books or had this bucket list trip of going to Lopez Mateos or going to Alaska, and they're not with us anymore. They never got to go. And I thought that was so, when you said that, I just stopped and I thought, thank God I'm doing this now. I've never been to Alaska. I'm 62 years old. I'm an outdoorsman. I'm a sportsman, and I've never been. I'm so glad that I'm going on this trip. And all of you that are watching and listening, don't wait any longer. This is it. And like Larry said, it's half price compared to what everyone else is charging. And Larry's got the hookups for, he'll tell you exactly how to fly, where to fly, what to do, how to get to these points and everything. So you have nothing to be afraid of. You don't have to do this on your own. Right, Larry?
Exactly. Yeah. Excellent point there. And I just see Mike Lewis saying he wants to do fly fishing. Hey guys, I spent 4 or 5 hours at Okuma on Monday. Picked up a bunch of gear for it. So we'll have all brand new gear to use. I spooled it up last night. Looked at some Promar jigs. They're sending us some more. Deckhand Sports is supposed to send me some stuff today to bring up there. Yeah. So this is support from the vendors that Dave's lined up. It's been absolutely amazing. But excellent point, Dave. Logistics. Everybody's afraid. Listen, guys. The September is kind of off season a little bit. The people run through in their Labor Day and they think it's over. I'm telling you guys, September is the best time of year to be there. Take that number, 760-331-2650. It goes right to my office. I'm not going to answer now because I'm talking with Dave and you guys. But I promise I'll call you back right after the show. Ask me about the logistics, ask me about it. You guys can do, some of you guys are really good. Some of you guys just send me your itinerary and I bless it and say, that's great. And to be honest with you, some of you guys suck. I mean, can you say suck? Can you say suck on the podcast? So, no, some guys, they don't get it. They've never been there. I understand it, but I will help you. They say, well, we got a layover in Juneau. We got overnight here. You don't. You don't, guys. If you just call me and say, hey, logistically wise, I'm having a little bit of trouble figuring out how to get there, I'll get you guys there. I'll get you guys there. I'll get you home. All you got to do is show up. We're going to have all the gear. All you got to do is show up with a good attitude, and we'll have all your gear and a few clothes. If you're into the clothes thing, you need a few clothes, some deck boots, some light rain gear, and that's it, guys. We have everything else. We have our own fish processing facility. We bought 5 acres. We've got custom vac sealers. Okay, we can do smoked salmon and literally vac seal the whole thing. So when you have a party this Christmas and you want to impress your friends and say, hey, look at this nice 5-pound side of silver salmon I got smoked with these guys up here, and Dave Hansen, you lay that out Christmas time, guys, it's amazing, So we got our own fish processing plant. We bleed all our fish. We know how to take care of it. We are licensed with the state of Alaska for fish processing. We fish process for the community. So you're going to go home with a great product. You're going to go home being able to get videos and pictures of your whole trip. And like I said, the only downside, Dave, is I got to fish with a couple old guys. That's the only downside. It's cheaper than the other lodges. I don't. If I had to write all the things to make it any better, I don't think I could make it better. Other than us not fishing with them, that's the only way I can make it better for guys to not come.
Yeah, but gang, there's only 2 spots. So if you're thinking maybe I want to do this, let me just tell you something. You want to jump on this right now. The other day when we opened up that open party trip on the Helena to go fishing with me, the thing sold out in 5 minutes. I don't know why people want to hang out with me. It blows my mind. I talked to Larry about this right before we went live. I'm blown away that you all love me, and I appreciate all of you. Let me just explain something to you, though. On this trip to Alaska, gang, we've talked to the other people that are going, and if you're going to go with us on this trip to Alaska, you need to understand something that's near and dear to my heart. We're not going to be drinking. We're not going to be partying. That's not what this is about. We're going on a fishing trip and a nature exploration. I don't want to be with you if you're drunk. I have no desire to be around drunk people. That's not my deal anymore. I was that ugly drunk 38 years ago. I don't want to be there with you. So don't understand. None of that's going to go on with me, Larry, and I. There's nobody bringing a flask and getting hammered and hanging on me and telling me stories about their sisters, brothers, aunts, cousin that caught a big halibut up here. I'm not into that. I'm just not. I'm sorry. If that's what you're into, this is not the trip for you guys. And if those of you that are on the same playing field that Larry, Mike, and I are on, you're going to have the time of your life, because we don't do that. We're not into that. That's not why we're going. We understand how important that is to know. I do. I understand. And that's not what's going on here, gang, in any way, shape, or form. And we won't tolerate it if it does go on. And you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be Bob. We call you Bob. You don't want to be Bob. Bob, I'm just kidding you. I just saw you put the hearts up there. But gang, you don't have to worry. It's going to be the trip of a lifetime. You're all going to go back and you're going to be talking about it till the end of time. You're going to be going, I'm so glad I made this trip. And Larry, you summed it up, and I'm going to go back to what you said at Bart Hall, and it hit me hard and it touched my heart. Don't wait to do your bucket list stuff, gang. Don't wait. And I don't care if you're 20 or if you're old 62 like me. Don't wait. If it wasn't for Larry slapping me around and saying, we're going to Alaska, Hansen, I don't care. And I'm busy. I do a podcast Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock, and I put out 3 brand new videos every day. Larry said, the internet works up there. Don't worry, Dave. You're going to be able to do your stuff.
We have Starlink.
It's going to be spectacular, gang.
We have Starlink.
Here's what's going to
happen. Elon Musk installed my Starlink. We have Starlink right there at the house. It's right on our roof.
Here's what's going to suck, Larry. If they don't go on the trip and they have to watch us live on the show every day, and they could have gone.
I know.
They could have gone. And I mean, I just talked to Todd Manser Marine. He's telling me he's spending almost $2,000 a month on gasoline just to go to work. Just to go to work. So when you think of the price of this trip, gang, that's really in the big scheme of things. Do you think that'll recharge you for another 4 or 5 years to go back to work? Yeah, I think this Alaska trip will do all that for you. So Larry, go into what everyone can expect that gets to go? Well, me and Mike and Jamie and Kelly, what are we going to get to see? What are we going to get to do?
I thought you were running the boat. Was I mistaken?
Yeah.
Are you still captain?
Yeah, I got the license, but I'm not doing that. Sorry.
I guess you said use my license. I guess
you guys want me to run the boat? That way you won't have to worry about catching anything, because I don't have any local knowledge.
So I got a question actually here. We'll get into what's included. So somebody asked a question, said, what makes Gustavus so special? I fished Southeast Alaska for the last 30 years. I know I started when I was 10. Last 30 years, I fished Southeast Alaska. I wish I'd started fishing Gustavus 30 years ago when I started. And somebody asked you what makes it so special. It's what it is makes it so special. It's a little more remote. It's a town of 500 people only. That makes it special. So, for example, if we were still fishing in Ketchikan North and South, you can go out and expect to fish with about 600 of your best buddies' boats every day from Ketchikan, Alaska. It's 300 boats in the north, 300 boats for the south. So there's an incredible fishing pressure on that resource. In Gustavus, we send out, if everybody in town went fishing and everybody was on charters and all the boats, the most I've ever seen going out that day is about 20. So you get this huge area that's remote that sends out about 20 boats a day. And the position of it is in Icy Strait up there, which is world-renowned halibut fishery. It's a place where halibut absolutely love. The bait is all there. So what makes it so special is listen, guys, we get probably more and bigger halibut in that area than anywhere else I fish in Alaska. That includes places like Homer you guys have been to. They're not out. We don't get the giant 400 pounders. Our biggest one's about 300. So what makes it so special is, number one, is the halibut. Number two is we're right at the corner. If you guys look up the position of it, out of June, 60 miles west of Juneau, we're on the corner of Glacier Bay National Park. Okay, that's where the John Muir Glacier is. That's where every cruise ship that comes to Alaska and Southeast, they all go right by my front door and up into Glacier Bay. We're going to have access to go into Glacier Bay. We picked these dates because September 1st, they let us sport fishing guys go in there and fish. The rest of the time you can't. So we get to go up in the park, and we don't have to be stuck on a cruise, and we get to fish in Glacier Bay National Park, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And you're going to see the eagles and the whales and the bears and a bazillion sea otters that we think are cute, just like sea lions here. They eat a lot. They eat a lot. So what makes it so special? And then to top all that off, that's all worth the price of admission itself. Oh, by the way, we're right in the middle of the migratory path of king salmon, silver salmon, chum salmon, pink salmon, and a run of what they call red salmon as well. So we're right in the migratory path for all the salmon. Okay. Oh, and by the way, we're only about a 45-minute run to get to the outside waters. So when we're fishing calm waters, we're fishing salmon and halibut and things 10, 15 minutes from the dock. Oh, guys, hey, we got to run half an hour to the outside to get our big lings, our rockfish, maybe drop some shrimp pots, maybe dump a Dungeness crab pot. So to answer your question in all those words, to answer it, it's special because of the fishing, and it's special because of the wildlife, and it's special because if you in Alaska, I mean, for me and Dave, not so much anymore. For me, I just want to go catch all the fish. That's what I do. That's what I'm there for. But you guys want to go see the bears, you want to see the moose, and you want to see the otters, you want to see the sea lions, and you want to get a humpback whale bubble net feeding and one breaching. We have it all there. So what makes it so special is it's a little harder to get to. It's one extra 30-minute plane flight. It's a little tougher to get to, but this is what we get for that. So what to expect, to answer your question, Dave, is you arrive at the lodge. We take you in. We show you the processing plant. We get some information how you want your fish processed. We have a home-cooked meal when you arrive. And then the next 4 days, it's fishing as hard as you want. If you want to start fishing at 4 a.m. and end at 10 at night, because that's how light, when it's light there, 4 a.m. in the morning to about 10 at night, we're out in the water for 89 hours. We got 2 streams very close to the house. We got hiking trails. We got an old plane wreck, an old plane that crashed you can hike up into and see the wreckage, and it's cool back there. You can harvest. You can go in and pick blueberries and mushrooms and strawberries and do that kind of stuff. You can hike in and fly fish in the afternoons and catch big coho salmon or red salmon in the afternoons. Then we come back. We do the meals all together in the big house. We'll do a Dungeness crab feed while you're there. We'll cook Dungeness crab. We'll do fish, fresh fish and halibut. We'll do steaks and pork chops. So, between the fishing and the camaraderie and the meals, and this goes on for 4 days, and then you got to go home. And then everybody complains that they got to go home. And then we do it all again next year. So that's kind of what to expect. But the cool part about it is you can do as much or as little as you want. I know I don't know her that well, Dave. I'm just guessing that she probably doesn't want to be in the boat 10 hours a day. So
right.
the cool part about that deal is, hey, you know what? You know what we do? What I do when my wife comes up is I go out fishing and catch my limit. And then when she's ready to go at 10 or 11, I come back to the dock because it's closed and I get her. We go out there and catch her limit, right? And then I drop her back off. And then we're done by 2 and 3 in the afternoon. And I get all the fishing I want. And she gets her 3-hour little tour, right? So we can customize that to however you guys want. Because, some guys don't like to fish. I don't know why. I don't know what happened in their gene pool that they don't like to fish. I can't say what they did or didn't do. But there's some guys that show up and go, hey, I don't want to fish 4 hours a day. And then I want to go, I want to go do this and see the bears and the moose. And that's okay,
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure that Kelly's going to be too into fishing 10 hours a day, but I am. Mike Lewis is. And we're going and seeing all the other cool stuff that's there sounds incredible. And then having a meal every night with the group, it's going to be so, I don't know, it's bucket list stuff. And I see Jason and I see Bob and I see Rob. I see people saying, yeah, that sounds like a bucket list trip. Pull the trigger, you guys. You're not getting any younger. Pull the trigger, man. I don't know if you're watching what's going on in the world today, but you might want to pull the trigger right now. You might and there's only 2 spots available and half price. It's not going to get any better. I guarantee you next year it's going to be more money. Guarantee you. If you watch what's going on. So think about it. And it's in September. So you got plenty of time to get ready, but you want to get on this sooner than later. Like I said, yesterday, day before we opened up that open party trip to go fishing with me and Kel for my dad, Don Hansen Day on the 15th of May. We sold that thing out in a few minutes. This thing's going to sell out quick. So don't hesitate. Call Larry. Get in on it. Get in on this as soon as you can. Right?
Yeah. And I see a lot of those comments about bucket list trips, and what I would say to these guys is, listen, I started PSA not to make money. I know nobody's going to believe that. I know that everybody out there is going, oh, that Larry Hansen, that Hansen's guys, they're full of crap, man. That guy started out and he's making all this money on this. Listen, I just telling Dave before we came on, I make my money another way. Okay. I have business here in California. I don't do PSA to make money. I do PSA so people can come do these types of trips that normally can only be done once or twice in a lifetime. And if it's affordable and logistics work out and you can justify the travel, I got a lot of my guys. This is an annual trip for them, guys. I've got guys. This is their 6th or 7th time with me up in Alaska, and they go every year. And it's because we made it affordable. We made it a good value. We made it to where we help people. I got a buddy of mine coming up, and he sent me an email and said, "Hey, Larry, I got a guy that's pretty much into his life, and he's got cancer, and he hasn't ever gone up there. Can he tag along my trip and I'll pay for it?" And I just said, you know what, you can. And I said, we'll give it to you at cost. Listen. In fact, I don't think I charge him anything because he's taking his 2 boys, and we just made room for that guy to go on this trip. But it doesn't have to be just a bucket list trip. With PSA, the kind of way we structured this thing, Dave, is if you look at the thing, if it was $10,000 a year, you may only go once. But if it's $2,500, like this stuff Triple Top Mount Lopez a minute, and you're getting all that fish. I don't know if you've seen the price of halibut lately. I'm sure you're dealing with Tommy Gomes and those guys. I'm telling you, man, most of my guys last year, I can just tell you this. My guys last year, every single trip I had, not one person didn't take all the fish they wanted. And half of my trips last year, half of them left fish with us to give away to the poor people of the community, of the homeless people and over in Juneau. And we gave away hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Fresh halibut in Alaska, living there, catching it, is $25 a pound. King salmon is $30 a pound. Okay, smoked salmon is pushing $45 a pound. So I know a lot of guys I talk to, some of the old guys like us, Dave, they want to equate, what am I bringing back compared to what if I bought this stuff? So I want to get some value out of that trip. And what I can tell you is if that's the way you think, that's all about what I can bring back, then we can do that. It's not so much for me anymore. It used to be, but if you go look at what wild caught healthy Alaska fish cost, guys, it's basically you're just trading dollars, and you get to catch fish yourself, and you get to go fishing with Dave.
And then my good buddy Matt Ryan's asking a question, Larry, and I think we need to go over this again. We need to go over this and let everyone understand. First of all, the plane flight is not included. Correct. But you need to call Larry, because it's kind of, for lack of a better word, it's kind of complicated how you're going to get there. So you don't want to try to figure it out on your own. All right. And that's why Larry has Pacific Sport Fishing Alliance, because he helps to put all this stuff together so I can understand, you can understand. So don't try to book your flight by yourself. And Larry's not hooked up with the airline, so he's not getting a kickback if you go with, but we don't want you to miss the connection from here to there, to there, to there, and end up staying at some scuzzy hotel and you go, this didn't work out the way. Yeah, you didn't call Larry. But my buddy Matt wants to know, what's included in this? Do I have to pay for the fish processing? Do I have to pay for my breakfast, lunch, dinner? What are we doing?
Is he a friend of yours, Dave?
Yes.
Is it? Then absolutely, yes, pay extra for you. Absolutely. Yeah. No. So as mentioned earlier, listen, we include all the fish processing. Okay, it's included, no charge. We seal in 5 mil bags. We put a custom liner in the box so your fish stays frozen all the way home. If you want a portion of your fish smoked, what I usually do is take the first day's catch and you say, hey, I want to smoke it. There's no extra charge for the smoking. Usually guys charge $10, $12, $15 a pound just to smoke. We do it all for you. It's all included in the price. So we'll take that fish, and we're out fishing. I got Jesse and Carmen Liebrecht, who are my processors and my partners up there. They're going to be brining and smoking your fish. Goes into 5 mil bags. It's vac seal. It's good forever. I had a batch that was from 2 years ago the other night, and it was like the day I caught it. It was amazing. So the fish processing is all included. All the meals are included. The shipping of the fish, good question from Ryan there. The fish, you check it just like luggage. So what I tell guys to do is bring carry-on, put your clothes in it. Your first box with Alaska Airlines, if you have Alaska Airlines credit card, is free. And then your second box is $50. So you can take back 100 pounds of fillet per person for $50. Okay. That's a pretty good deal. So we put in these boxes. They're airline approved. We take them right to the airport for you. Just like it's a checked bag. You put that thing on there. Wherever you live, it doesn't matter. My liners are good for up to 48 hours of air travel. That stuff is frozen solid when you get home, just like when you left Gustavus. So it's all good to go. Breakfast, lunch, dinner included. We usually have a light breakfast. Some guys, we have all kinds. We have a Keurig coffee maker, and we do a light breakfast, and then we do typically a sandwich bar where guys make their own sandwiches or have leftover things we have from the night before, whatever they want for lunch. We pack all that. I just loaded up here. The truck's going up there on Sunday. We have snacks from Costco and Trader Joe's and all chips and everything you could possibly want up there, just like you were at home. You bring it on the boat as much as you want. Your sodas. The only thing we don't include there, I know Dave mentioned earlier, I'm not a big drinker. Dave's not a drinker. I do enjoy an adult beverage with dinner. I like to have a glass of wine. We're going to have that. That's cool. None of us are going to get crazy. We never miss a call. So certainly there's some guys out there I've talked to, we don't, of course, Dave and I run the boats, we never ever drink on the boat when we run it, obviously, but guy wants a beer, glass of wine with dinner. We're good with all that. We'll have that for you guys up there. So that's all included. The dinners, the only thing that's not included is your airfare, your Alaska fishing license, which is, I think, $50 this year, $75, something like that. And your adult, and that's it pretty much. So, everything else is included. You don't have to bring gear. Some guys like to bring this stuff up there because, they fished Alaska for the last 30 years and they have their bitch and lures that they want, and that's fine. I've been doing it for 30 years. I got the way I want to do it. Which brings us another point, the guys are coming up here, guys, they're Dave and his group. One of the reasons I want to do this trip is these guys are usually pretty good fishermen, and we have a much better time. We don't have to sit there and troll for 8 hours a day and to catch our fish, and we can drop jigs and we can cast and we can bounce jigs off the bottom for halibut, and we can do some bunch of cool stuff that typically doesn't happen on a charter group where where it's a hook and hand like you do in Cabo for the marlin. We can and we will if that's what you need for us to do. But what you will find up there is, you'll get enough education on this trip with Dave and I and the guys out there. You'll get enough education on this one trip where if you wanted to go back and do it yourself, that you could do it. You could do it. So.
And then the cool thing is I'm going to be on the boat. Larry's going to be on boat. Next day, you're going to be on the boat with Larry. You were on the boat with me the day before. Then the next day, we're going to go hiking and go look at some cool stuff. Then maybe go back out fishing in the afternoon. There's just so much stuff. My head just keeps spinning. If I start to think about Alaska, I don't even sleep. I'm like going to Disneyland. That's what you guys are all going to be in on. So just understand. And you guys have seen me at the trade shows. You've seen me on this show every day. I'm the same exact guy. I am super excited about every single thing. I'm super excited about a butterfly. I'm super excited about a bald eagle. I'm super excited about a bear. I've never seen a grizzly bear live. So I'm super excited to see that. I'm super excited to see you catch a giant lingcod. I'm super excited to see you guys catch a giant halibut. I'm going to catch my own. I understand that. But what turns me on is seeing you guys doing it and the smiles on your face and the whole thing. That's why I've done this for a living my whole life. So what you see on the show and what you see at the show, that's what you're going to see on the boat. And anybody that's ever been on a boat with me, it's, and I'm not trying to pretend like I'm all that in a bag of chips, but it's a pretty special occasion because every single thing is the most exciting thing. Whether I did it 1,000 times this week or not, every single fish is the most exciting fish I've ever hooked. That's what it's going to be like, gang. That's the experience that you're going to get when you come with KellyGirl and I on this Alaska trip. And Larry's going to be our host. I don't know anything about it. So when you ask me a question about it, I go right back to Larry because I don't know. I'm excited to go see it. You guys want to see something spectacular? Come along with us. Let's all experience this together. Mike Lewis and Jamie are going, and Jamie surprised Mike with this trip. They're my friends, but they're going because they want to come and experience Dave Hansen seeing this stuff for the first time, and they want to see it for the first time. I'm sorry, I get a little excited because this is a trip of, guys, I see so many of you saying bucket list, bucket list. What's going to be different this year than next year? Why are you going to wait? Why are you going to wait? What's going to be different? What in your life is going to be different next year? You got to look at what's going on in the world right now. This is it. Right now is the time to do whatever you're planning on doing. Right now is the time to do whatever bucket list thing you're going to do. So look at Larry. We've already talked about Alaska for a half an hour. We haven't even talked about this other super cool thing that I'm super excited about. Yeah, I'm excited about Alaska, and 2 of you are going to go with us. I know that. 2 of you are watching right now. 2 of you are going to pull the trigger. 2 of you are going. Okay, so we pounded this into your head enough. And then the rest of you that don't go, you're going to get to watch it, and you're going to go, God, why didn't I go? Because now next year, a tank of gas is going to cost you twice as much. The whole trip's going to cost you twice as much. So don't wait. Don't sit on the sidelines. Jason, I've seen you 15 posts here saying bucket list. Go. Get on this trip with us. For God's sakes, yes, bucket list. That's a fun word we all throw around. But you got to do it. So, Larry, where'd you just get back from?
Oh, what I said, the thing about bucket list trips, what I found out, Dave, is the guys, and we see at the show, and I actually brought a story from Jonathan Roldan, with tail hunters always at the shows. And the problem with bucket lists in general is we usually end up kicking the bucket before we get it done with the list, right? Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. It's not going to, Dave and I are going. Okay, we're signed up. We're going. We're going to go. So it doesn't matter. But you guys sitting on the sidelines here and asking the questions, just go. Let me share. If it's not one of the best fishing trips you've ever been on, I'll give you your money back. I'll say, hey, you know what? If it doesn't live up to what we're saying and doesn't live up to the hype that we're telling you guys, because as excited as we are, it's even better when you're there. So we beat this horse to death. Couple quick answers. Do we offer float plane trips? The answer is yes. We can get you on a float plane trip if you want to do one and fly right over the glaciers. And then somebody asked me to mention again, 5 nights, 5 full nights, arriving on the 12th of September. You can go to Juneau for a couple nights. If you want to do the fish hatchery in Mendenhall Glacier, just call me. I'll explain it to you. 5 nights, 4 full days fishing, $29.95 for everything I said is included. Where I just got back from is Lopez Mateos. Drove in for last week. Took possession of our new property there. It's called the Whaletail Inn. We're going to rename it a little bit. It's going to be called the Whaletail. We're going to call it the Whaletail Lodge because I couldn't get the domain name for Whaletail Inn. No, because I like Whaletail Lodge better because I think it's more of a lodge. So we're going to call it the Whaletail Lodge, right center of downtown. Just got back from there. Listen, guys, I'm doing some seminars around California, and Dave's got a date on one coming up in another club. When Dave and I did the seminars in Long Beach and did that and started talking about Lopez Mateos, when Dave and I were there, I got approached by almost every single fishing club in California, not just San Diego, but Southern California. Whereas in Huntington last week, this next week, I'm going to be down in San Diego here at the San Diego Rod and Reel Club. But I got at least a dozen invitations to come to their meetings to talk about Lopez Mateos. That's how excited they were about this location. 4 distinct fisheries, guys. A beautiful, nice location. It's in Mag Bay North. We bought a lodge there. We have the Parker here. We're fixing it up right now. And oh, by the way, we're going to be doing full packages like we do in Alaska. We're using that same stuff. We're bringing commercial back sealers and a commercial ice maker. And we have, the boats. And oh, by the way, we hired probably 2 of the best skippers in Lopez Mateos that Dave fishes with all the time. We hired Ruben Duran and his son Nestor. Nestor's actually going to be our sport fishing captain along with Ruben. This is what we talk about. We hired 2 of the best captains in Lopez to take us all the way from inshore all the way out to the offshore, to the Wahoo Banks, to the tuna, to the Dorado, to the big trophy snook and the grouper. So we took possession of that. And what we're going to do, Dave, I don't know if you want to announce it, but we got Dave Hansen's actually, he's going to be all worn out from Alaska, guys. We're going to give him a couple weeks to rest up, right? He's going to take a couple weeks, and guess what? He's going to do back-to-back trips in Lopez, guided, show you guys all the stuff he's been showing you with his drone and the stuff with Mark Rare and the steros there. He's going to take you guys out and show you how to do it. All right. He's going to be staying at the lodge, and we're going to do Alaska Part B, which will be Alaska/Lopez Mateos. So this will be bucket list trip number 2 that we're going to do with Dave. And we got dates right now. I'll let you take it from there, Dave.
So, gang, Larry and I, we did those seminars at the Bard Hall show. And another thing Larry said that I've been talking about for years, you guys have been watching these Lopez Mateos trips. I come back. Every time I come back, I have 30, 40 videos I want to show you. And I do show you. Bucket list isn't even... it's not on my bucket list anymore. It's on my must do 4 or 5 times a year. I have to do it. And like Larry said, if there's one place on the planet Earth that Larry has to fish, and he has to fish there, it's Lopez Mateos. And if you've never experienced it, you're in for one of the most unbelievable experiences of your life, gang. I got turned on to it 4 years ago, and I kicked myself in the ass for not. I mean, it's a 1-day drive from San Diego. If you really are a gnarly driver, you can do it in 16 hours. You can flat ass do it. And now that it's going to be light longer, you can do it in the light. But I like to take 2 days if I'm coming from the States. What I'll do is I'll stay at one of my buddies' Airbnbs there in San Felipe, and then get up 4 o'clock in the morning and do the second part of the drive and be in Lopez Mateos before it gets dark at night. The one thing about Lopez Mateos, gang, there's nothing else to do there. If you're not fishing, there's no nightlife, there's no partying, there's no nothing. There's none of the, you all think of Mexico and you think of all that other fluff. There's none of that. So if you're thinking fluff, well, there's no fluff in Lopez Mateo. And if you want to look it up on Google Earth, you got to put in Adolfo Lopez Mateos. You're not going to find it. If you put in Lopez Mateos, you're going to end up on the mainland Mexico somewhere. It's called Adolfo Lopez Mateos. When you look at it and you Google Earth it and you open it up, you go, there's nothing there. Because there isn't. That's the really bitching part about it. You get on the Ponga and you drive around in the mangroves and you never see anything. And you can go up and down these mango channels If you don't know where to go, you could get lost very, very easily. And like Larry, and I'm so excited. When Larry told me this morning that Nesto and Ruben are his guys, oh my gosh. Nesto, you see him in all my videos. Nesto's the guy I follow around with the bucket when he's throwing the net on the beaches there in Lopez Mateos and catching me bait. He's catching me mullet. He's catching me sardines. He's catching me. That's Nesto. So y'all know who Nesto is. And then the guy that takes me fishing, that's Ruben. But listen, Nesto can take you fishing too. So you got both of these guys going with you on these trips. It's super magical. And we're going to do something in October. I'm going to be down there. It sounds like I'm going to be down there the whole month of October, according to Kelly. But no, I'm going to be down there for 10 days, and it's going to go by. When I go fish with Mark and we go there for 3 days, it's over so fast. And Mark and I, as we go to the spot in the morning, we have a big smile on our face. And as we're coming back in the afternoon, we have a big smile on our face. We got bugs in our teeth on the panga because it is so effing cool. You guys have never seen anything like it before. If you've never been there, there's nothing that compares to it. And the mangroves themselves just go for 30, 40 miles and then branch out for miles and miles and miles of nothingness but fish. Everywhere and anywhere you stop, you throw any rubber, plastic lure or hard bait, and you're going to catch a spotted bay bass. And I don't care. You go, well, should I try here? Everywhere. You should try everywhere. And then when we get snuggled up into one of those little mangroves and you're casting your live bait in there, you guys that like to fish lures are throwing in there, you're catching a million different fish. I could just go on for the rest of the show. I could tell you all the different fish you got a chance to catch. Then let's just say, hey, I want to get me a big wahoo, or I want to get me a marlin, or I want a big grouper. I've never caught a big grouper. I want a big grouper. Hey, Larry, I want a 40-pound snook. Well, you're going to go and you're going to hook one. You may not land it. All Larry can do is, and Ruben and Nesto can do is take you to them. You're going to get bit. You don't understand. There's nothing there. So there's zero pressure. There's no pressure. You go to Ruben's little rock, and he's got a whole bunch of them his whole life since he was a little boy, and he's my age. He's an old man too, but he's lived there his whole life, so he knows every little rock, and Nesto knows every little rock. It's magical. The place is insane. And go back and look through our archives of our 4,000 videos and go look at all the different Lopez Mateo stuff on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And then you can start to understand. And I'm sorry, every time Larry goes, go ahead. I talk about it for an hour. I can talk about Lopez Mateos forever. And then you want some awesome seafood? Scallops right now. A kilo of scallops is $7. And I don't even cook them. I eat them raw. A kilo for $7. You can buy lobsters if you want lobsters. You can buy oysters. They have an oyster farm. Okay, tell Larry, hey, can I get a dozen oysters for dinner tonight? He'll go, no, you can get 3 or 4 dozen. We're not going to, because you don't want a dozen. It's not a restaurant in Newport where it costs $800 for a dozen oysters. You can get a dozen oysters for like $10 or less. They're less than $1 a piece. And you get a whole bunch of them. And you've seen my videos, Mark and I sitting down to 25 oysters at a time per person. It's just the most incredible place on the planet Earth for an outdoorsman, fisherman like me. And if you just don't want to fish, you want to go see some birds. There's so many flipping birds in Lopez Mateos because there's so much food there. And then October is not the right time to see the whales, but if you came back in February or March and you just wanted to see the California gray whale spawning or mating or having babies, this is where it happens. This is where you pet them. This is the place. The magic just keeps going and going and going. So talk about, Larry, I'm sorry, but go ahead and talk about the magic of Lopez Mateos and how can these people go with us?
Cool. Yeah, what Dave said, all of it and more. It's a It's absolutely amazing. And there's, and just touching on the mangrove fishing, that's one of 4 world-class fisheries. Then the snook and the grouper, what we call near shore, that are actually everybody thinks that all the snook are inside in the stero, and they're not. They're the big ones. We get up to 45 pounds on the outside, right outside, 40, 50 feet of water. It's a live shrimp-based fishery. Listen, guys, we lose means we catch. You never know if you're gonna hook up on a 1 pound bay bass, a 2 pound sand bass, a burrow grunt down there, or a 40 pound snook, or a 100 pound grouper, all in the same drop. So you got to be ready. There's some technique to it. We have the local knowledge. We're one of the few groups that go down there that are able to target that fishery. And by the way, guys, the guys that are here, that don't want to run 40 miles just to catch tuna, we have what we call a midshore fishery, where the tuna stack up on the bait. The sardine purse seiners out there, and they're at 240, 300 feet of water, guys, and we're catching 25 to 50 pound tuna. All you want. We're 12 miles from the point. It doesn't happen like that in San Diego, right? And we're getting our Dorado in the same spots. So we got a mid-range fishery where guys, that want to go out and they don't want to take the 40-mile run to the banks. We can go out there. We got that mid-range fishery. That's world-class fishery number 3. And then the offshore fishery, guys, that's one of the few places on earth that you can take a trailer boat or a boat right from a lodge and go out and catch. We had an 80-pound wahoo last year, several of them, right? Or a striped marlin, or they caught a couple black marlin last year, or a mako shark, or yellowtail off the bottom, all of the banks. So when we look at this thing and look at the big picture of what's going on out there, I mean, like Dave and I said, you hold the gun to my head and say one place the rest of your life to fish in Mexico, because we got to throw Alaska out there, but one place the rest of your life, it's going to be Lopez Mateos. It's just that good. And because of the logistics of it, we never get blown out. So if it's blowing the outside on the banks, we're in the mangroves. Nice flat calm day. We're out there. We're taking that run out there. Dave, we just kind of want to lay up and go out and get our Dorado and our tuna. We're working on a couple other fisheries. I mean, when I was down there last week, I didn't know this, and I got schooled a little bit. They actually have a world-class deep drop sword fishery out there. The locals handline them off the ridge out there. So that's become a popular thing here. We're looking at that fishery going, hey, do we want to do a deep drop swordfish? But anyway, talk about the fishing all day. So here's the dates, guys. Here's the deal. I got a question. Is it spearfishing friendly? It is. Some of the locals don't like spear fishermen. We catered to some of them. There's some etiquette involved. Anybody that's out there spear fisherman, call me. Okay, rather than get into the weeds on spearfishing, because it's typically a pretty small percentage of the fishing population. But the lodge I have has done spear fishermen. They're good at it. We can do it, but there's some things, some rules we want to follow, some etiquette, especially when we're trying to get along with regular sport fishermen. So the guy asked about sport fish or spear fishing. Give me a call. We'll go over that. So the good stuff. October 10th, first date. Dave Hansen. 5 nights, 4 days fishing, same type of itinerary as Alaska. 5 nights, 4 days, all inclusive, $2,450, guys. $2,450, 6 spots per. We don't put 6 guys on a boat. We fish 3 guys on a boat. That's inshore and offshore. So we're going to put you with the captain, Dave, and only three guys fishing per boat. So limited to 6 guys. We're going to run 2 boats out of there. You're going to stagger between inshore, offshore, depending on the weather, right? 5 nights, 4 days. That includes all your fish processing, all your meals. If you fly into Loretto, logistics are real easy. You fly into Loretto, we'll pick you up with our vehicle, run you to the lodge. When you're ready to fly out, you'll go to Loretto, fly back out. If you want to make the drive, you can do that as well. Again, best thing to do is call me or call Dave, and we'll talk about logistics to get there. Second trip is going to arrive back to back. We're going to do October 15th, another 5 night, 4 days. Guys, 6 guys max. And we're going to do that same trip for $2,450, and Dave will be there the entire time. I'll be there the entire time. We'll have, I don't know if Nick will be there, but talking about the whale watching, he's doing just so you guys know about the wildlife. Our photographer that's doing the stuff up in Alaska is actually coming next February to do the whales. It's so popular, guys, for the wildlife. He's actually doing a trip, a Nat Geo style trip, where only professional photographers are coming next year and doing the whale watching, and they're going to do a day of fishing. So if you guys never experienced that whale watching thing in the winter months, that January, February, March, we're gonna do some special trips. We're kind of a combo trip where you can do the mangrove fishing is still good that time of year. So we're gonna do some trips next year and probably try to get Dave again for one of those. But these trips here, these October trips, this is this same reason we picked Alaska, that the times we picked them, the same reasons we picked Mexico this time. It's the best fishing. October 1st, that stuff starts coming from these upper banks, starts stacking up on the ridge and points farther south, right? So the marlin are stacking up, the wahoo move in, they're stacking up, the tuna are coming in, right? So everything's coming from north south. So the October 10th through the 20th dates, those 10 days right there is prime time in Lopez Mateos sport fishing, right? So you guys want to get on that. We got a couple other trips that we've already started to put out. They're already sold. PSA club members have taken. So this will be a Dave Hansen trip. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be insane. And I've seen some questions. Nicholas Pratt, the very best time of marlin fishing is October and November. There is nothing like it on the planet Earth. Guys come from all over the world to come see this world-class marlin fishing. You don't understand. It's hard to even comprehend. If I tell you, you're going to go, there's no flipping way. Well, there is. My best day in October up there on the ridge, we had, for two guys, we had 44 marlin and a sailfish, and we only fished for 5 hours. You literally find bait balls in October and November. That's when the sardine are spawning, like Larry was talking about. And the sardines are there spawning. The marlin follow them in. They're striped marlin, not blues, not blacks. We're talking striped. And you can come up on a bait ball and you'll look in the water, and as far down as you can see, you're going to see striped marlin. It's like out of a movie. You can't even comprehend that this is actually going on. Your head's going to not compute what you're seeing. You're not going to understand it. And you can literally drop a bait in the water, pull off 3 feet of line, and the marlin will eat it right underneath your feet. And it happens all day, every day, October, November. It's insane. If you want to catch a marlin, Larry will tell you, you can go catch a marlin. It's not even, oh, we got to go hunt for now. You're just going to go out there. And the biggest problem you have is, which bird school are you going to go to? And I always look for the biggest one, because there's 50 bird schools. You're looking around, you're going, they're everywhere. Yep. And every single one of them has 100 to 200 marlin on it and a giant bait ball. It's incredible, the fishery there. 20, 30 miles off the beach, 40 miles if you want to go to the ridge. The ridge is where every long range boat goes. If you want to get on a 10, 12 day trip, they're going to the ridge. It's going to be a day and a half of travel, 2 days of travel to get down to the ridge. Not out of Lopez Mateo. You're going to get on the Ponga. You're going to leave the bay.
The Parker. We're going to get on the Parker. We're going to get on the Parker, not the Ponga. We're too old for Ponga. I'm too old for Pongas. We're going to get on the Parker and go with a cabin.
Get on the Parker, and you're going to be literally driving by fish to go catch your marlin. You're going to be going, hey, there's a big bird school. No, Nick, you said you wanted a marlin. Oh. Well, I didn't know there was a bunch of yellowfin right here in 200 feet of water. Yeah, well, there is. But you want a marlin. We're going to drive by the tuna. We're going to drive by the wahoo. We're going to go out to the marlin, and you're going to catch as many marlin as you want. You're never going to want to catch another marlin the rest of your life. You're going to be over the marlin. And I know a lot of you are like, oh, that's impossible. Well, no, it's not. You pull on 10 of them in a day and you're done. You don't want to do it anymore. Lasley and the boys went on the Bad Company, and they had 350. They set the world record, 350 marlin in 2 days. It was just absolutely incredible. But we thought we were pretty proud for 44 in a day. Gang, that's what goes on in Lopez Mateos. And then the inshore thing, that's my baby. That's what I love to do. I love to fish that inshore stuff. I love to cast my baits into the mangroves. I love to do that. I like to have Ruben take me and go catch some halibut. When the tide's not going right, we'll go do the halibut thing, or we'll go walk around the beach and collect shells and look at all the other cool stuff that's going on there. There's just the magic of Lopez Mateos. And then Tim asked about medical. Well, there's a town, Constitucion, that probably has a tiny bit of medical service. It doesn't have anything real. I would get travel insurance through, what's that travel insurance company that they advertise on Let's Talk Hookup? I have it. I can't even remember what it is. Dawson's Insurance. You get that travel insurance, Tim. It's good. $500 or it's $250 per person, and then throw the plane in the air, life flight you, whatever. Also, you got the town of Loreto, which is like an hour and a half drive from Lopez Mateos, but it doesn't have any great big medical facilities, either one of those. Down, if you really had an emergency and you could set in a car for 5 hours, you drive to La Paz. But there's an airport right there in Loreto. There's a landing strip in Lopez Mateos. Bob used it for years. If there was a medical emergency, they would fly the plane down and land in Lopez Mateos and take you and take care of you. But as far as medical facilities, no, it's not Cabo. We have the greatest medical facilities in the world right here. High class billionaires live here. We have great medical here in Mexico. One thing that Larry and I did not talk about that I'm sure a lot of you are sitting there going, is it safe? Is it safe? I don't even believe when I hear that nowadays. When I watch what the hell's going on in California, or I watch what the hell's going on in New York or Chicago, are you out of your ever love? I guarantee you the cartel will never allow that garbage that's going on in America to go on down here. They will never allow that, gang. It is so safe. It's amazing. When you pull up to a checkpoint, they're going to walk up to the car and they're going to ask you, what are you doing? And Larry and I just tell them you're on vacation. They go, oh, have a great day. If you pull up and you're shaking like a dog pooping razor blades and you're terrified and you're all sweaty, they're going to go, come over here for a minute, because either you're hiding something or you're terrified and you're going to give them your wallet. Dude, don't pull up being scared. There's nothing to be afraid of. And if you're ever in Mexico, and I hear all these people, my sister's brother's aunt's cousin got accosted down there. Really? You're full of crap, first of all. Kelly's out driving around right now. I don't know if any of you have ever seen her, but she's out driving around in my 1986 Toyota 4Runner right now in Mexico by herself. There's nothing to be afraid of here. But if they ever pulled you over and said, okay, Larry, we caught you speeding, demand the ticket. Tell them you want I want the ticket. No, I don't want to give you my money. No, I want the ticket. Let's go to the station. They will crumble like a potato chip. They don't want anybody to know that they just pulled over a tourist and trying to shake them down. But if you're scared to death of your own shadow, they'll get you every single time. But it happens in America too. But gang, if you are afraid of Mexico, you may want to go outside in California right now and look around. Go down to Santa Ana or go down to Compton or go to Sandy. One of our members is the announcer for the Padres. He's a member of the website. He rides his bike to the stadium because he's had his car broken into twice already at the stadium in San Diego. He rides his bike through all the homeless people, and he has people trying to accost him every day in San Diego at Petco Park. Gang, there's nothing to be afraid of down here. There really, really isn't. I'm sorry if your sister's brother's aunt's cousin told you, oh, don't go to Mexico. They're going to get you. It doesn't happen, gang. It's not the TV. It's not the movies. And Larry, why would you buy a lodge down here if it's so scary?
Well, because I'm a little bit nuts, but that's just me. It's just that's the next thing. They tell us not to buy invest anything in Mexico. And let me tell you something, Dave. I've been owning stuff down there where you're in Cabo for the last 35 years, and it's the same things in the States. You get the right people, you deal with the right people, you have common sense, and I actually feel safer when I'm in Mexico than I do, and I live in San Diego, guys. I live in Oceanside, and I feel safer. I feel safer in Mexico than I do in Oceanside, California. I won't walk out at night at my house and go down to the pier at night. I just won't. And that's probably fine. But you guys that are afraid or concerned, I understand. We're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of certain things. But this is why we do these trips like this, guys. Do reservation trips. It's like, you'll be with us. We'll protect you. We'll show you how to catch the fish. Dave might even show you how to clean one. I hear he's pretty good with a knife. I like the electric knife as I get older, but Dave might show you how to clean a fish. But when you get done with the trip with us, you'll come to the realization of what you've been missing out of, for your life. You know, it took me a while. I was scared to death the first time I went in, and my buddy had me so petrified. I thought I would do this one trip, and I was like 26 years old before I first went to Mexico. And I would have bet you majority of what I had in my bank account that I would never go back again, you know, and that's 35 years ago. And you can't keep me out of there now. So don't be afraid, you know, don't let whatever is bothering you stop you from doing what you want in your life. You know, I made it through 63 years now. Dave's made it through 62. You know, it's I think we're going to be okay. You know, I think we're going to be all right. I think we've gathered this knowledge. So any of you guys that, you know, want to call me, call Dave, you know, don't call your brother, second cousin, sister. Don't call them, you know, call us. We're there. He lives there, for Christ's sakes, you know. You know, I go down there all the time by myself, you know, and I'm still here, you know, and I got all my money in my pocket. You know, it's all good except for the money I spent in scallops and lobster, you know, when I was there last week. I got all my money still. And so don't be afraid, guys. You know, get out there and do it. Yeah, I know we're running late, Dave, and I know that, but
we're going over today.
We're
going over today.
Anytime you and I get together, they had to boot us off the stage, I think, in Long Beach. I think they had to get the hook, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nicholas Pratt, but you've absolutely got to be thinking of San Francisco, California. You have to be. Yeah, I don't know if you've been outside lately. Go to San Francisco and let me know how that's going on. They don't prosecute anybody. You can do anything you want in San Francisco. Down here, I'm sorry. You got to turn off the TV. It's not what's going on. I know you think you know. I live here. Don't tell me stuff about my country that I live in, because it's not what's real. It's not really what's going on. I'm not going to San Francisco, period. You couldn't pay me enough. You couldn't get me there. There's no way in hell I'm going to San Francisco, period. End of story. But I live here, so I'm sure you know way more about what's going on down here than I do, because you live up there in California. But gang, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, or be afraid. We don't need any more people here. Be terrified. Don't come here. Keep your liberalness up there and stay up there and try to figure out if you're a boy or a girl. It's all good. It's good. It's all good. I don't care. I'm just telling you the truth. All I got is truth. All I got is truth. That's all I have. I don't have any make-believe baloney. And that's sad. If you lived here for 10 years and that's what you're thinking is going on, that's too bad, because it's not going on. There's so many big yachts, so many mega yachts. Jerry Jones just pulled his yacht into the harbor last night here. I don't know if that's what's really going on. Why don't they want his yacht? Why do they want some poor little fisherman's panga? I don't know. Maybe I'm just maybe I don't really understand what's going on. Maybe I don't know, but I'm just telling you, gang, be afraid. If you're afraid, be afraid. Don't come here, because there's so many flipping people here now. We don't need anyone else. We really don't. But if you want to have fun and go have fun and feel safe and not worried about life and not worried about someone breaking in your car and stealing all your stuff, I'll tell you what, downstairs right now, I can get up right now, take my computer downstairs. My cars are in my driveway with the keys in the ignition wide open. We don't even have a key to our house. We know that they gave us one 5 years ago when we got the house. We don't even know where it is. Kelly and I the other day were like, where is that key? We don't even know. So I'm just telling you, be afraid of whatever you want to be afraid of. Be afraid we're out of gas. Be afraid that there's global warming. Be afraid of all the crap that they want you to be afraid of. But don't be afraid of Mexico. Don't be afraid. Don't sling drugs down here. Don't come down here and sling drugs, because that's their job. They don't want you slinging your drugs here. But don't be afraid, gang. We got mega resorts. The average resort right now is over $600 a night. I'm telling you. And they're full. They're full of people. When you land at the airport here in Cabo, I think yesterday when I dropped Cubby off at the airport, I think there was 22 private jets at the airport. So if they're grabbing stuff, why aren't they getting the jets? Why aren't they getting the cool stuff? What they want, Larry? They want your Parker? They want
it's a nice Parker. It's a nice Parker.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that'd be more fun than getting a jet.
Exactly.
Way better than a jet. So, gang, just walk around with your eyes open every once in a while and turn off the news because they're all lying. We can do this all day long. But the Lopez Mateos trip's going to be bitching. The Alaska trip's probably going to sell out as soon as Larry gets off the show. But if it doesn't, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. We'll talk more about it next Thursday. Tomorrow is going to be an epic show. Not that today wasn't, but tomorrow I got Mike Laus from the Pacific Dawn live on the water. He's going bluefin fishing with his charter. He's got Starlink on his boat. So he's going to be sitting in his wheelhouse with his laptop, talking to us as he's going bluefin fishing. And you can ask him questions and you can find out what's going on in his wheelhouse and what's going on in his head. He's been on that bluefin. He can't make them bite. So when they're not biting, he's not catching, but he's been on it. He had one night, he had, I don't know, 15 fish over 100 pounds there 3 weeks ago before all that weather came and the stuff disappeared. Mike's going to be with us. Him and his beautiful wife, Tiffany, are great friends of mine. Tiffany runs the Ocean Explorer out of the Marine Institute in Dana Point Harbor. And Mike Laus started working for my family when he was a little kid. So we got a lot of history. It's going to be a really fun show tomorrow. You get to learn a lot about what's going on, and we'll be with you tomorrow. Don't forget to give Larry a call. Find out about anything you want. Alaska or Lopez Mateos. Super excited that you got Nesto and Ruben in the program. That's going to just make it so much more better. When you come down to fish with me and Larry, you guys go with Larry, go out in the big ocean with Nesto, and then Ruben and I will take you on a phenomenal inshore journey through the mangroves and just see some magical stuff. And then we'll all sit around in the lodge at night and eat all kinds of bitchin' seafood. It's going to be so fun. This year is just incredible. Thank you, Larry, for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you. Thank you. Great coming on. Sorry I couldn't live up to what Kelly could do. Tell her I hope her shopping went well. Tell her I'm sure she'll find something nice to wear. And tell her that look forward to fishing with you guys up in Alaska.
Oh, yeah. I'm just checking. I got an alert. Yeah, it looks like her shopping's going really good. Yeah. She always is blown away when she comes home, and I know. And she's like, how do you know? Really? Someone has to pay that credit card bill. I know you were going to pay it, but I get alerted about it. It's all right. You booked the San Mateo. Oh, you did, Anthony. Good job. Yeah, that San Mateo, my sister's running that trip for $199 on Sunday. If you guys look at the weather Sunday, it's going to be bitching. I don't know if she has any spots available or not. Dana Wharf Sportfishing, 949-496-5794. And good, Anthony. I'm glad you got on that. She had 3 spots available. If you took one, that means there's 2. I doubt they're even available anymore, but you may want to call her. They're going to the 14-mile bank on the San Mateo. It's going to be bitching. Larry, thank you for being on the show today. Thank you all for watching. And be scared. Be super afraid of everything. Just be terrified all the time. The government loves that when you're terrified. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid. Or come on the show and hear truth. Truth is good too sometimes. Truth is always good. And that's all I got. Talk to you.